Hello, I'm Indy.
I'm Kincaid, and welcome back for another episode of
Inside the Sandbox. We have so much to share with you this week because, as you know, the Sandbox is always growing.
We found some amazing new voxel artists while lurking the internet and got to sit down with a new special guest from the community.
And if you didn't get to listen in on the Landowners AMA, we have some info to share with you.
But first, it's time for QuickSand News.
Forget your virtual reality, this is virtual insanity! That's right! The Sandbox is partnering with that Grammy Award-winning funky, fresh, and groovy group, Jamiroquai. Jamiroquai is also in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the best-selling funk album in history. They joined the ranks with other amazing musicians in the Sandbox family, such as Snoop Dogg, Blondish, and Deadmau5.
The deadline for the Gamee Game Jam was May 22nd. It was an amazing opportunity for you to show us what kind of casual game you would make in the Sandbox. There's 15,000 sand and 10 Gbot packs in the prizes to be distributed among the top 10 entries, and we are so excited to see who the winners are and what they created.
But you know what? If you missed that Game Jam, don't worry about it because the Sandbox runs Vox Edit contests on an almost weekly basis. You can create amazing assets and potentially win sand or NFTs. It's a great way to get the Sandbox team looking at your creativity because guess what? They're the ones that pick the winners. Make sure to check out the link in the description of this video to find out more.
Speaking of creativity, Celsius Online just dropped their NFT Pack 4 collection for missing parts on May 18th. They have all kinds of cool futuristic assets like flying buses, flying robots, characters, weapons, and so much more. You can find them all in the Sandbox Marketplace.
The Sandbox recently acquired the Uruguayan company Qualit, a full-stack development technology firm experienced in gaming, to boost its Web3 and blockchain innovation and development capabilities. The Sandbox has had a close partnership with Qualit for over a year and will work with the two brothers who co-founded the company to significantly boost the team's growth through additional resources and infrastructure. Qualit will become the Sandbox Uruguay, expanding the Sandbox global team and accelerating growth of its ambitious metaverse ecosystem. And they are hiring! So be sure to check out the links for that in the description.
In this week's special Landowners AMA, Sebastian and the Sandbox team went over the 2022 Landowner Roadmap and answered some long-awaited questions from the community. If you missed it, we have some highlights that we thought deserved a little attention that we want to share with you.
In January of 2021, there were 4,500 landowners, and as we are entering the second half of 2022, there are now 20,500 landowners to date. 5 million sand will be distributed to landowners, and they've increased the amount of sand that will be distributed to small landowners to ensure a fair distribution of sand.
Every landowner, even if you only own one land, will receive 200 sand. The claim should be in place on layer 2 by the end of the month, which will make it easier to stake. So, be on the lookout around the 30th of May.
You'll find a new special staking section in your dashboard. The Sandbox is reintroducing the multiplier on Sandmatic and introducing a multiplier on direct sand staking.
Sebastian and the team also announced the landowners will be able to rent their lands out as soon as Q4 2022, where you remain the owner of the land and the renter would be the user for a specified amount of time in the smart contract.
Next month, the Sandbox is finally implementing catalysts and gems, which are the tokens required for artists and creators to mint their assets on the marketplace. Landowners who are staking will be the first to start generating these ever elusive tokens.
A major update for GameMaker is underway. Version 0.6 was released at the end of last year, and the new version of GameMaker should be released in August or September 2022 with more powerful mechanics like multiplayer support and concert-related features like spatial and visual effects, allowing builders to make more imaginative things.
Lastly, in September, the Sandbox celebrates 1,000 days old, and that's quite the achievement for Metaverse. In honor of this achievement, the Sandbox will be offering another sand claim for landowners. You'll have to stay tuned for more details to be released in the coming months.
They announced some amazing perks and rewards for landowners in this AMA, so many that we couldn't cover them all. So be sure to listen to the whole AMA and catch up on all the amazing new updates that you may have missed.
Well, that's right, baby. It's that time again. There's so many of you creating amazing artwork out there, but we can only choose 5. So get ready for our top 5 picks. Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. And our top pick coming in at number 1 for the week. Top pick for the week. Now it's time for our weekly community spotlight, and today we've got 2 special guests instead of just 1.
How exciting! Do you two want to take a few moments to introduce yourselves and tell the community a little bit about what it is that you do?
Absolutely. So I'm Kodi, and I'm the CEO of Tempest Studios.
And I am Lozen Fükem, and I'm the creative director of Tempest.
Oh, awesome.
So what is exactly that you do at Tempest Studios?
We do a lot at Tempest Studios. We kind of focus on 3 main things, but mostly importantly, we're in the sandbox every day, all day, right? Building games or assets. First and foremost, we have our own IP Monochrome. So we're building that game, which is an extension of feature film and a comic series, a whole universe around this IP of the stories we want to tell with it. And secondly, we build games and experiences and assets for other people. So other brands or IPs or communities, Web3 projects come to us and they want a game, they want an experience, and we help bring that to life with our background. And then the last thing we do is what?
Education. So we like to build community and work with community to make sure that we're establishing best practices, how to develop stories, and basically just how to build your own world and release untapped creativity.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So from the monochrome standpoint, it's a IP universe, as we said, that we've been working on for going on 10 years now. Our feature film is out now on Amazon for the US and the UK, or on Vimeo VOD for the rest of the world to watch. But it sets up the world and the characters. And then right after the film stops, we have our graphic comic, right? And that's going to be a series that'll be ongoing. And those spill into our next films that we're in pre-production on, which will be a trilogy. And then the games within the sandbox that are also in the monochrome world. So just all these multimedia mediums that cross over and payoffs and questions answered that you can explore. We also have a PFP project coming out called the Monochromies, which you can have your own identity in the monochrome world and then eventually have that 2D also be a 3D sandbox avatar to play with.
So can you tell us how you're affiliated with the Sandbox and maybe a few of the projects you've worked on for others?
Absolutely. So inside the Sandbox, other than our IP Monochrome, we build for others, right? So right now we have several clients, the Alpaca Dabras and the Mutant Cats. Our team is growing quickly, and we're building experiences and games for them. And custom assets. We have, before the Web3 space, before even knowing the Sandbox, Tempest Studios was Web2 creative studio, and we would do branding and marketing cohesiveness for everything, delivering the logo to the video production, to the printed business card, right? Everything looks the same so that you can look at it and be like, that's that brand. And we bring that into Web3, into the Sandbox with highly detailed builds. We're big on story. Just before COVID, we were supposed to be film professors here at UTA, and we love teaching. So being able to share that knowledge and the attention to detail that you can inside the Game Maker, inside Voxset, is what we do. Lastly, I am a staff artist by the Sandbox, so I work with CellX and A-Team. So I build a lot of the proposal images. So when we go and pitch to big brands, just recently worked on the Paris Hilton stuff, the Snoop Dogg doggies, the Moonbirds, all the big secret stuff that we go out and pitch to get those clients into the Sandbox. I'm one of the team members working on that.
So it's like the multiverse inside the metaverse. The Sandbox is a game developer's dream. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you're teaching?
Yeah, so a big part of what we're teaching is how to use Voxedit, how to use Game Maker. We have beginners classes, and then we also have more advanced classes. But to kind of bring everything all together whenever we're creating stories, we're also teaching about narrative storytelling, how to create that submersive environment and IP like we've been discussing. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much.
With harder courses, right? So we have the beginner courses, and we'll have 201, 301, and more. And then all these courses, the alumni of the students that take that, there will be some NFT integrations with those that are, complete the courses that they can then take and use when building their games to help make things easier.
We definitely want to hear more about your masterclass.
Absolutely. So in regards to brands, right, that want to come into the Sandbox, I would say, like, the Discord is a great place to start, and follow the Twitter. Anytime there's an AMA with Seb or some other subject matter expert in the Sandbox where you need to come and ask questions about the roadmap or what's happening, those are the two best places to do that in that regard. Furthermore, there are a lot of streamers. There is official Sandbox streams, 2 of them by Alex Flores twice a week, and then Joseph does, I think, 5 days a week. He does a late night show, but
Panda Pops too.
And Panda Pops does Voxedit training. So a lot of official Sandbox streams where you can go and ask questions and watch and learn, or watch them play other games and give critiques, which is great from the builder side. And then to answer the other part of the question, the builder side, again, the Discord and the Twitter is a great place to learn about what's going on with that. There are a lot of other community streams, like Lozen and I stream twice a week. Building Monochrome, we're just showing how to do things, answering questions, or doing fun tutorials. But yeah, a lot of resources out there, YouTube channels, videos, that sort of thing to pick up and learn.
And Metavers Masterclass.
That's exactly what the community needs. What kind of advice can you give to the people watching who might be starting out in the Sandbox?
Absolutely. So Metavers Masterclass, right now, we have our first course that just dropped last month. It's called Voxedit 101. So Voxedit, as most everybody knows, it's the program from the Sandbox that you use to create the blocks, the assets, the avatars. That's one of the things we love about the Sandbox, right? Is from our filmmaking background, you need all this money and budget and permits to go and shoot or blow up cars or just walk down the sidewalk and film, right? Which is money and time and a lot of red tape. The Sandbox, you want to do that, create it and you can do it. You can build any world you want. It's all for free. The community, the ecosystem is fantastic. So I would say there really should be no excuse to not download the Voxedit or Game Maker and then just start experimenting. That's how we do it. We have resources. There are a lot of great resources out there to learn it, to start building the world you want to create. And it's no code Game Maker, so it's very easy to follow and understand. Go spend some time and just, I think people should do it and would enjoy it.
So as you make your way off the show, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, we just want to say thank you to the community that's been supporting us for the year and a half we've been here in the Sandbox space. Absolutely, this is part of the reason why we do it, right? The friends and family, that we're making doing this. And thank you to both of you for creating such an awesome, well put together resource for the community to learn about what's going on, learn about more creators. It's definitely needed and much appreciated.
And keep creating.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It truly was a pleasure speaking with the two of you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks,
We'll see
guys.
you in the metaverse.
Man, I'm gonna go home and watch that movie.
I can't wait to read the comic book.
Right? There are so many creators out there building in the sandbox. Are you creating something cool and want to tell your story? Post a video on social media using the hashtag Inside the Sandbox for a chance to be featured on a future episode.
Be sure to subscribe and tune in next week for an all-new episode filled with more amazing voxel artists and featuring another awesome community member on
Inside the Sandbox. You never know. Could be you next.